Are we live?
Mm-hmm. With the wrestling one.
All right. All right. What's going on, nMo fans, Fighting Game League fans? This is your host, Alex Nexus. Goodness, I'm thinking wrestling too
Alex.
much. Nexus. That's what happens when you go live. You can't get any double takes.
Alex
So anyway,
Mysterio.
so yes, the only reason why I'm donning the mask is because this is a wrestling topic, and it's gonna get really ugly. So like I said, Nelson last night. But anyway, I want to introduce Nelson, co-host and Demizzle staff member. This is the nMo Meeting Arcade Show Fighting Game League broadcast. Now, today, I wanted to respond to last night's Raw. Now, many of you saw that Raw was in Canada and they were in Bret Hart's hometown. It was good to see Bret Hart on the show. And you know, I am just gonna go out and say this, and Demizzle, make sure you come with it today because Nelson saw it, and he knew what my reaction was. But CM Punk's character, with the way they wrote that whole interruption and disrespect towards Bret Hart, here's my thing. First of all, he shouldn't have been wearing Bret Hart's colors because that's not just disrespect to Bret Hart, but that's also to Jim Neidhart and the Hart Foundation. Number one. Number two, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't give a shit what anyone feels about CM Punk right now. He cannot hold a candle, technically, with a gimmick or anything in the face of Bret Hart and his legacy, despite how people are still trying to hold the Montreal Screwjob thing against him and how he handled the Shawn Michaels thing. That's completely irrelevant. With these two people, Bret Hart, CM Punk does not compare. And John Cena made a good point. If you have to keep telling people that you're the best in the world, which I highly disagree with, there's some serious insecurities. I know, like for instance, with my artistic skills, I'm very talented, but I don't have to remind the world that I'm a great artist, or I'm a great martial artist, a great wrestler, a great kickboxer. I just know it. You know what I mean? And Bret Hart has demonstrated that over the years during his era. I mean, CM Punk, I think just, even if they wrote it a certain way, you know how he's pretty good at shooting and going over, pushing the envelope a bit. But, man, CM Punk needs to respect the people that laid the foundation for him. And to say that he's better than Austin, to say he's better than Shawn Michaels, I mean, is he really trying to become the heel or what? You still got the fans who are supporting him. Don't get me wrong. CM Punk is a good wrestler, not the best, because there was only, when you compare him to Bret Hart, in to me, when you kind of do the scaling, Bret Hart is the best there is, the best there was, and possibly ever will be technically, because I haven't seen anyone since Daniel Bryan, Jack Swagger, and a couple of those guys of that caliber, measure up. Then you have the Chris Jericho's. Well, I don't want to go too far into it, but you know who the other wrestlers are. But CM Punk went too far. I mean, he can never lace Bret Hart's boots. He couldn't even, if Bret Hart was still in wrestling condition, he couldn't even hold a candle to be his tag team partner, no less. I would say Hornswoggle has a better chance of being a better tag team partner to Bret Hart, because CM Punk, it's not about his in-ring stuff anymore. It's all about that gimmick. You know what I mean? Marred with contradiction. So, Nelson, I'm going to give you the floor, then Demizzle. But, Nelson, what's your feedback on what occurred last night?
Well, before I have to step out, I'm just letting you guys know, but my feedback from last night is mainly just a shock, because just like how I was saying in the last podcast, how CM Punk was sitting there talking all this shit, complaining, whining, and moaning and stuff like that. Now he's taking either his persona or his character to a whole nother level, saying that he's better than like legends, current wrestlers, and he's taking it a bit too far. Don't get me wrong. He's a good wrestler and a good background fighter of like, you know, taekwondo off of wrestling, but he has to kind of like slow his roll because there are other wrestlers which have a much more rich and deeper background than he does, that they could just maul him down. And for him to disrespect Bret Hart like that as like a legend within the company and insult him in his face directly and wear his colors in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
It kind of got me like, I was stunned because Alex told me and stuff, and it was just something else. But as I said before, CM Punk cannot keep his reign. He cannot keep going at the pace that he is. He's not Austin. He's not Chris Jericho, and he's not Edge. He cannot talk that shit. He has to slow it down, like indefinitely.
Yeah.
But I have to go. But you guys can continue the podcast. I have stuff to do, so you guys can keep going.
All right. Demiso, the floor is yours. Because I know you're probably going to